Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin and Cardano. Currently we can see that most cryptos are in the red. There are a few exceptions here and there, but most cryptos are just showing a sell-off. Theta doing quite well actually, by the way. And Theta, we talked about this in the live streams a few times before. And yeah, which is good as well. But generally, yeah, Bitcoin moving down, pretty much in line with expectations, but is this already the wave 5 sell-off or not that we talked about? Let's take a look. So what Bitcoin is doing here, we had this triangle on the chart yesterday, an ascending triangle. I did post it in the Telegram group for channel members yesterday, that Bitcoin is struggling to hold this and that we can expect further downside potential after it broke here. And it did break from 44k down to 42.5, which I pretty much said is the next key support level, and you can see that this was the case, and this was the case because this is the level where the 50-day moving average is sitting at 42.6 at the moment. It's hard to give a definite number for that because it's a descending or dynamic support level, so it is changing, but you can see that the price did react to this 50-day moving average. Yeah, so I mean, this could have been a triangle. You could have interpreted that probably even more likely as an ascending wedge as well, more of a bearish pattern, and it did break out to the downside. Now you could also see this in some way as a double top, where the bulls really struggled to push higher here and then lost it as well. And what I find quite significant is that in this move down here, Bitcoin now made lower lows. Yeah, it made a lower low compared to this one, compared to this one, this one, this one. And it still is above 42.5, which is, or 42.3k, which is this one here from the 7th of February. But that is already quite important. It seems to be that it might be here on its way down, but it's too early to say it really still. It's too early to say it. So this here, what we saw from up here, from the 8th here down, this was not yet the beginning of a wave 5. So I did tell you this could have been already the wave 1, 2, then 3, 4, and 5. Obviously, it would need to go down much lower, but this was not yet the first beginning of an impulse because this wave here did move up too far. Yeah, it did move above the beginning of the previous wave 1. So that has been invalidated. So all we could say now is possibly maybe this was the beginning, and then we are getting here now a wave 2 retracement at some point, where you can expect possibly a retest of that descending wedge, but that is just speculation. So we just need to wait how this is going to play out. And if this is the beginning, it's really too early to say. But what we need to say, that first move down here was quite strong. Yeah. And I'm getting much more confident about this if we break two ways. One is if we break above, below the 50-day moving average here now at 52.6. And currently it seems to be we are heading further down. Or if we move up again and retest this former support line as resistance line, okay? Then I'd be more confident that we are already here possibly starting the move down. And what we need to say, all of this, especially what we had up here, this structure, and also this structure down here, for me looks, bearish is the wrong word, but it looks very corrective, okay? It doesn't look like a strong impulse for me, and it looks like it's very indecisive. So if you see a decision in one direction, then you can already understand that potentially here as a first move down. But you know, as always, we need to wait for some confirmation. And as I said, everything that moves here in this yellow target area is pretty much just within the volatility of the market. And as long as we are not above 46.5, I remain in this scenario where we have made here the wave 4, and we are now moving down in a wave 5, or I'm expecting at some point this wave 5 to start, which would take us down into the target area between 20 and 28.7k. Seems currently that we see a really good reaction to the Fibonacci levels in here that we talked about, and that we're already on our way down. But for that, I would want to see Bitcoin breaking the 50-day moving average, and that hasn't happened yet. We talked about the potential of all of this being here just a wave C, and so A, B, C, And I think we can interpret a 5-wave move into this, because a wave C consists of 5 waves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And overall, I think if we zoom out, you can see the 3-wave structure of this whole move, A, B, C. So let's see if that was the case, and then we begin here with our wave 5 down. But it's too early to say it. But we can see, as I said, the break of that ascending wedge yesterday, as I posted it in the Telegram group for channel members. And we also saw, that's also when I posted that, we saw a bearish divergence play out here on the 1-hour chart. And we saw some of these shorter term indicators turn bearish or turn to the downside. For example, we had the 4-hour MACD. I did post that as well. That was just strengthening its selling momentum, yeah. And also the 4-hour RSI did turn into the bearish territory. So I would expect here generally still primarily further downside potential, as I've said throughout. First upside potential into the yellow target area, and then now between 43.3k and 46.5. These are the two key Fibonacci levels in here. And by the way, we're already below 43.3k again. Below these two Fibonacci levels, I do expect a reaction and then a move down into the wave 5. So let's see if that is going to happen. Maybe we are going to see a decision today. I think we already saw here the beginning, but again, we are still above the 50-day moving average, and as long as we are still above the 50-day, I just would like to wait to really confirm that further. ADA also, we talked about it yesterday, that we had two sort of bearish patterns on the chart. One was here this head and shoulders, yeah, and one was the ascending wedge as well. And also here, this one did break to the downside, in line with what Bitcoin is doing and in line with these bearish patterns, and it struggled to push higher here. We talked about it yesterday in the last video, and so overall all of this looks still fairly corrective for me. So pretty much all going in line with expectation. We talked about that this here, what Cardano is doing, could already also be in the wave 5. It was a bit earlier with the wave 4 here than Bitcoin, and that it already is here in the beginning of the wave 5, in which again you have 5 waves typically, yeah. So what we could be seeing here is the wave 1, the wave 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this might really be what is playing out, especially due to the characteristic of this move here. It is very, very corrective, doesn't really see any momentum, moving more sideways, you know, a little bit of up and down, typically a wave 2, you know, corrective basically. And that is really what could be playing out here. And if we take the fibs just for that one move for Cardano, we can see that the price did react here, well, first to the 50-day moving average, but didn't really push above the 0.382 fib level. Maybe did get to the 0.5, not quite. So we saw a reaction here as well, but more of that was actually the reaction to the 50-day moving average, I would say. And also here, Cardano now making lower lows and could also be on the way down, but we don't see volume yet, no selling volume really, as we saw no buying volume. I showed you yesterday the the fear and greed index, and this is really neutral at the moment, so just indicating further sideways movement really. So it just shows the indecision in the market. Bear in mind, we've got the weekend coming up, typically rather quiet. Last weekend was interesting though, but typically the weekends are characterized by less volume, but therefore on the other hand it's also more easy to manipulate the market and push the market into a certain direction. Also here, these short-term indicators like the 4-hour chart point further to the downside. So it might be an interesting day. We might see further downside potential here. Volume is quite low, and just waiting for the decision on Bitcoin, and I think Cardano will follow at the moment, because on the ADABTC chart you can see ADA really following Bitcoin sideways. Can take a final look before I finish the video. There you go, you can see it here, ADABTC pretty much on a horizontal line. By the way, ADA on the ADABTC chart lost the ascending trend line again. Not a very good sign, but here what we can see is possibly an ascending wedge, descending wedge, which would be a rather bullish pattern. So we could expect here a decision and possibly a breakout to the upside shortly. Of course, doesn't need to happen, but more often than not, a descending wedge would break to the upside. Again, here you can see slowing down volatility, and you will get that spring effect that you saw here after this triangle as well, where we also saw a more significant move. Of course, all, you know, this is a small time frame, the 4-hour one, and also these triangles are fairly small, so don't expect a major breakout here, but it's just something to be aware of if you're watching the charts. Alright, hopefully you liked the update about Bitcoin and Cardano. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. And if you really like the content, maybe consider to join as a channel member. You can do that on my website or here on YouTube. And for both, you can find a link in the description. Then you can get access to Discord, Telegram, and a weekly live stream. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.